we can't be ourselves in the Episcopal Church and take the step of resettling white Afrikaners from South Africa. Our church has a long commitment to racial justice and reconciliation, and we have historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa. Desmond Tutu is a part of been a partner was a partner in this work for us. So we're just not able to take this step. It's not in line with anything that we're about.
I'm actually surprised people are out there saying, hey man, we're all about racial stuff and we help people like minority and not white people, because that's what Christian is supposed to do. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? That's like saying I only want Christians to help nice people. No! You do know what Paul did in the Bible, right?
Yesterday, Trump welcomed 59 white South African Afrikaners into the United States. This comes 59 white South African Afrikaners into the United States. This comes just months after he signed an executive order that halted nearly the United States. Trump welcomed 59 white South African Afrikaners into the United States. This comes just months after he signed an executive order that halted nearly all refugee admissions. And the reason he cited was national capacity limits. So why make an exception? Because, according to the order, these Afrikaners are victims of government-sponsored race-based discrimination. Supporters say it's about time that someone acknowledge racism against white people. Critics say this is hypocrisy. Trump banned refugees, but now he's making an exception because they're white. And honestly, both sides are half right.
There comes a point I'm going to be very suspicious that the government is funding this?
Shoot to kill, Yamasa, kill the poor, the farmer.
And honestly, both sides are half right. Supporters are correct about anti-white racism. It's real, and it's not right. And it's hard to discern how big of an issue it is in South Africa, but it's definitely an issue, as evidenced by this video of Julius Malema, leader of the third biggest party in South Africa, calling for people to kill white farmers.
Shoot to kill, Yamasa, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer.
Now, here's where I think the critics are incorrect. It's not clear that Trump is just favoring white people, because if that were true, why didn't Trump make an exception for the thousands of Ukrainians who were blocked when the refugee system was paused?
That's a good point. Yeah, he blocked those white people. Maybe they don't have government funding. Maybe.
But there is a better argument that critics can make, which is this. Maybe Trump isn't showing a preference for white people, but he is showing a preference for people who are being persecuted because they're white. And I believe that is a problem. Here's why. We all agree that racial persecution is bad, right? Great. Do we also agree that the persecution of the Uyghur Muslims in China is bad? What about the Tigrayans in Ethiopia? Or the Hazara in Afghanistan? How about the Rohingya in Myanmar?
Or the Christians that are dictating in certain countries?
Look, my issue here isn't that we're protecting white South Africaners from persecution. It's that we're being selective and protecting some people based on preference and not principle.
I mean, you have to be consistent if you can, but if you can't be consistent, and their lives won't be consistent, yeah, you need to do something so their life can be consistent. Venga, dilo, remember to subscribe.
Remember to subscribe? ¿Por qué?
I understand why many white people feel frustrated that racism against white people gets ignored or even celebrated as some kind of reparation. That sucks. And the solution to discrimination is never more discrimination. You don't solve discrimination by moving the underprivileged to the privileged.
And by saying that, they might call you stuff already.
That's just shifting the imbalance from one side of the scale to the other. It just transfers grievances. It does not remove them. We don't solve injustice by flipping the script. We solve it by applying one principle to everyone.
Yeah. You're not going to remove my eye for equality. That's kind of horrible if you think about it.
Supporters of this decision will argue that Biden allowed millions of people into the country illegally, the majority of them single adults who didn't integrate into society. And by contrast, they say these South Africans will be good for America, hardworking, family-oriented, and easy to integrate. Okay, then make that a transparent policy, not a one-time carve-out for people who happen to match our image of what an American should be. Make that logic written and clear so that we can all see it.
If they make that a policy, they would see that as discrimination, because they're going to say that system is taking so much time because they think single people are more dangerous, and here we get a family. It's more trustable.
Because right now, we can't. I see Trump finding room for one group of people while not finding room for others. I see people rationalizing personal preferences rather than referring to written principle. And I see no way forward if Americans condemn privileged treatment of people who look different while celebrating privileged treatment of those who look the same. And that's why, even if you support Trump bringing in these white South Africaners, you should still demand transparent policy. Because if today you allow a double standard to be used for you, tomorrow it will be used against you.
Are there other countries right now where white people are being I think it's the only place where the government can say something. I have to be honest, they have written. It's just sad what they're saying.
I just wanted to make you aware. Good morning. This is for the South Africans who are going to be entering the United States. This is just a public service announcement. I just wanted to make you aware that the black people who were students during apartheid, we're grandmas and grandpas now, and we have the era of Gen Z. One more thing, I also want to let you know that our president, he has Secret Service, and you will not. I also want to tell you that black people over here are empowered. These are just public service announcements. When you get here, sit your ass down and don't touch nothing, because you don't have Secret Service. Okay. Now have the day you deserve.
Yeah, you almost overreacted to something.
If they think like that. Because I think most poor that are not afraid, they can defend themselves. But some of them might be poor or less, and they can't defend themselves, and they left. So in other words, you're kind of maybe hunting poor white people. And even if they're rich, the fact that you want to justify this, I'm like, why?
I need y'all to realize what Trump just did. He brought 8,000 white people out here from South Africa. Not because they need refuge, not because they need asylum. It's because he knows these 8,000 white South African motherfuckers are racist. He knows they finna come over here and they gonna be blatantly racist, thinking that they still in South Africa. But these 8,000 racist motherfuckers is gonna find out the hard way. They gonna f around and find out. You can't talk that shit over here on our soil. Here comes another executive order. Here comes another executive order to protect white people, just like they do Asians, just like they do the Jewish. Then the news gonna spread, oh my God, black people are hurting South Africans. This has to be racist. Executive order, it'll be considered a hate crime. Just watch. This is exactly what's happening. Remember, he wants chaos. This is how you create chaos.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
All I have to say is this. If 8,000 bothers you so much and you think they're going to use very bad word, maybe it's time to prove people that say bad words, it doesn't affect you. Make them feel stupid that they try to get something out of your body that you've conquered.
I'm too strong!
That's how I conquer people. But if you don't have that energy and you want to focus on that, cool.
Well, in my view, what makes it different is that they are white South Africans. The president, in my view, has not hidden his racism behind a bushel. In fact, in his policies, whether it's removing government workers or, in this case, admitting white South Africans while denying refugee status, asylum seekers from other countries, principally Central and South American and Black nations to come into this country.
The leftists, liberals, Democrats, whatever you want to call yourself nowadays, the tolerant left, the amazing, loving, tolerant left. If you're more concerned about the skin tone of the South Africans who are here on refugee status, you're racist. If it bothers you, they are vanilla South Africans in America seeking refugee status. If their skin tone matters to you more than the fact that they're being persecuted in their own country by the Pan-Africans, you're not only racist, you're also a piece of crap. White farmers have been struggling for many, many years now. And no, nothing will ever justify apartheid. But punishing the descendants, what is that going to do? This has been an ongoing problem for a very long time. I, for one, am very excited when I voted for Trump and he won because I knew he was going to deal with this nonsense. With Elon Musk at the helm, I knew it was finally going to be addressed. Mr. Trump, the same guy who flew Nelson Mandela to America on a private jet back in the, late 80s or early 90s. That's the man you're calling racist. Because it suits your narrative. It suits your agenda. Deal with it.
Kill the poor!
The real racists here are the Pan-Africans chasing away any African that does not look like me. Because Pan-Africans are all about Marxism, by the way. Let me bring you up to date. Pan-Africanism has nothing with uniting Africa. It's all a racist movement. Have you seen their fist? Have you seen their flag? Those are the people behind all this hate. Same thing in Zimbabwe. What did Robert Mugabe do? He chased all the white people out of Zimbabwe. What happened to the country? It fell to crap. The inflation is insane because he doesn't know how to run a country. He just hates all the white people. Once again, if you are here in this country fighting for an MS-13 gang member and supporting the fact that the Democrats are going to go all the way to protect him, judges fighting Trump's executive orders to protect illegals in this country, but it is bothering you that South Africans' lives are being saved from persecution in their own country where they were born. It's bothering you so much because they're the wrong skin tone. You are the problem, and you're a racist, and you should do better.
Look, all I know is this. If a government is openly screaming out loud, I don't like you, we can do something about it. And by the way, depending on certain reason, I can just take your land away just because of your skin color or your grandparents. That is not a country I want to live. And I would be very grateful if another country helps me out. That is the only thing I have to say about this.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk Criollo colombici jam jam. Durloqueta verdeta welcome.